What is the spiritual dream meaning of borders?
Let's get right to it. Here is the brutal truth. She was a boarder. And we're talking about Aung San Suu Kyi. Yes, the Nobel Peace Prize winner. You see, for 15 years, she wasn't just living behind a border, she literally became one. Think about it. The simple gate of her home in Burma, it turned into one of the most watched thresholds on the entire planet. Inside, there was her sacrifice. And on the outside, well, that was the regime, the whole world watching, and even her own children that she couldn't reach anymore.
So how did this happen? It starts in 1988. She chooses this border, going back to Burma, just knowing she might never get to leave again. And sure enough, for the next 2 decades, she's a prisoner in her own house. Then comes 1999, the ultimate test, right? Her husband is dying of cancer all the way over in England. If she crosses that gate to go to him, she can never come back to her people. So what does she do? She stays, a sacred sacrifice. But then, there's this devastating twist. After she's finally free, she gets power. And what does she do with it? She draws a new border. This time it's around her own conscience, as she defends the brutal persecution of the Rohingya people.
So let's be crystal clear about this. She was imprisoned by a border, and then she became one. First physical, then moral. And this is where the story stops being about her and starts being about you.
So when you see a wall, or a fence, or a locked gate in your dreams, listen up. Your psyche isn't playing geography. It's not some random symbol. It is screaming. It's screaming an urgent message right at you.
In that scream, it's saying one of 3 things. Let's be blunt. Number 1, you are being held, caged by something or someone, or maybe just your own fear. And the worst part, you've stopped even noticing the bars. Number 2, you are holding someone else. You are the border. You've become this protective, controlling wall in someone else's life. Or number 3, and this is the big one, the most common, you're just standing there. You're at the threshold, and you are flat out refusing to cross. You're frozen, waiting for some kind of permission that is never, ever going to come.
And that's what reveals this razor-thin line, doesn't it? On one side of the wall, you've got a sacred border, a line drawn out of principle, out of courageous sacrifice, just like her first choice. But on the other side, it's a prison wall, a cage built from avoidance and self-imposed limits, just like her last choice. It's the exact same wall, the exact same symbol, but it holds 2 completely different meanings.
This right here, this is why ignoring a dream about a border is a catastrophic mistake. This isn't some fluffy symbol you write down in a journal and then, just forget about. No way.
Let's get technical for a second. In psychology, a border and a dream represents what we call the ego's edge. And what is that? It's the exact, literal place where your known, comfortable self ends. And right on the other side, that's your unlived life, the whole life you could be living. Your dream is pointing right at it. It's showing you the exact line you are terrified to cross.
So that border you saw in your dream, let's call it what it is. It is your avoidance. It's the thing you refuse to look at, the conversation you won't have, the risk you won't take. It's the root cause of so much anxiety and depression, and your mind has made it visual. It's made it so big, so undeniable, that you can't ignore it anymore.
The lesson here is just merciless. There's no sugarcoating it. A border can be sacred, or it can be a prison. That's it. It is an absolutely unforgiving truth about how our minds work. There is no in-between, no middle ground.
So your dream is asking you a direct question, that border you saw. Which one is it? Is it a sacred line that you're defending with courage? Or is it a prison wall that you've built around yourself? Your dream is asking you, and you do not go back to sleep without an answer to that question.
Part 2. So, if you've dreamt of a border, you need to listen up. Your subconscious is trying to tell you something critical, and we're going to break down exactly what that is.
Look, the way a border shows up in your dream, like who's on what side, if you can cross it, how it makes you feel, that changes everything. This isn't just some vague interpretation. This is a straight-up diagnosis of your life right now.
All right, let's start with the big ones. The barriers you think are out there and the ones you've actually built inside your own head.
This dream isn't about a physical wall. No, it's about a mental one. You failed once, maybe at a job, a project, a relationship, and now your brain has logged it as a permanent, impossible barrier. So you just stop trying.
So here's the question you have to ask yourself with brutal honesty. Is that thing you want actually impossible? Or have you just convinced yourself it is so you don't have to try again?
Okay, this one? This is the psychic echo of rejection. It's what shows up after you didn't get the job or when you felt iced out by a group of friends. It's that raw, gut punch fear that you're just not good enough. But here's the reframe, and this is so important. Before you beat yourself up, ask this question. Because sometimes not getting in isn't a failure, it's a mercy. It might be protecting you from a place you never really belonged in anyway. Now in this dream, you're the one on guard. You're holding the line, and your subconscious is screaming at you that the constant vigilance is burning you out. It's exhausting work. You have to understand this distinction. Healthy boundaries protect your energy. Old defenses just keep you isolated. So you have to ask yourself, what am I really protecting? And is the cost of this wall now higher than the protection it offers?
Okay, let's get into how this all plays out with other people. Because the borders between us, that's where things get complicated, and they get complicated fast.
If you dream about a border that keeps moving, you need to wake up. This is one of the clearest signals of a toxic, manipulative dynamic. The rules keep changing to keep you off balance and insecure. It is not your confusion, it is their control.
Now, if you see a clear, fixed border between you and someone specific, your mind is demanding a verdict. There was a fight, a break, a rupture, and it was never resolved. The line was drawn, and you've both just been staring at it ever since.
And you have to decide which it is. There is a world of difference between a healthy distance that protects you and a bitter estrangement that's just punishing you both with grief. You have to know which one you're living in. Next up, our relationship with the systems, the rules, the norms, and those electrifying moments when they start to crack.
Dreaming of a checkpoint means you've given your power away. You're just standing there, waiting for someone else, a boss, a parent, your own inner critic, to give you permission to live your life. You've made them the gatekeeper. This is a fire drill for your life. Name them. Who is your gatekeeper? Now, what would you do if they said no? If you don't have an answer, you need to start acting as if the gate is already open because maybe it was never even locked.
Oh, this dream. This one feels like lightning, doesn't it? It's that mix of terror and total exhilaration. It's not about doing something wrong. It's about choosing yourself over a system or a rule that was suffocating you.
And this is the core message right here. Your subconscious is giving you a direct order. Make the move. Break the rule. The only thing you're breaking is a system that was rigged against you from the start.
And what if the border just disappears? If it just melts away? It means an old structure is ending. An old separation is over. And I know it can feel terrifying, but the only real suffering comes from trying to hold on to something that's already gone.
And finally, we get to the most important border of them all. The one that separates the life you have from the one that's waiting for you.
This dream can be absolutely heartbreaking. You can see it. The life you want is right there. But listen to me. Your subconscious is not taunting you. It is handing you a map. It's showing you exactly where you need to go.
So this is your homework. Don't just think about it. Do it. Describe that feeling, that place, in just 3 words. Now, find what that looks like in your actual real life, and then take one small concrete step toward it this week.
Okay, this is it. This is the most urgent dream of them all. It is a sign of a fundamental displacement. You are on the wrong side of the border in your own life. You're in a job, a city, a relationship where you don't belong, and your soul knows it.
So do not ignore this. Ask yourself, and be ruthlessly honest, where do you feel like a stranger? Because that question, that's the one your entire life has been trying to get you to answer. It's time you finally had that conversation.
Part 3. Okay, the time for reading about your dream is over. We act now. Because let's be honest, understanding means absolutely nothing if you don't do something with it.
And the rehearsal is done. Look, the exercises we're about to go through, they're not one size fits all. Each one is designed for a different woman, a different kind of border. Your job is to find yours. Find the one that makes you a little uncomfortable. Yeah, that's probably the one you need right now.
So here's how we're breaking this down. We're going to look at the 3 main places these borders show up. First in your mind, then in your relationships, and finally in your body and spirit. And we'll wrap up with your first non-negotiable step.
First up, we look inward. Why? Because more often than not, the wall you keep slamming into, well, you're the one who built it.
So let me ask you, are you the overthinker? Are you the one whose mind just spins and spins, analyzing every single possibility until you're just too exhausted to actually move? If that sounds like you, then this is where your work begins. Grab a blank piece of paper. Draw a circle. Inside that circle, I want you to write down everything you have and allow in your life right now. Then, outside the circle, write what you want, but haven't claimed yet. That line you just drew between the two, that is the border. And here's the most important part. You have to give it a name. Is it fear? Is it someone else's expectation? You cannot cross a border you haven't identified.
And you're going to do this tonight, not this weekend, not when you feel like it, tonight. This is not a suggestion.
Okay, now, for the visual woman, the one who can't move toward a destination she can't actually picture. You are going to build a vision board. But forget the generic stock photos of success. This has to be real, personal, filled with specific images of the life that actually feels like it belongs to you. And just so we're clear, this isn't some vague manifesting trick. This is neurologic priming. It's how your brain is wired. You move toward what you look at. It is a simple biological fact. Your brain cannot pursue what it cannot clearly visualize. This board gives your brain its target. Now, what about the woman who is always waiting for a sign, waiting for someone, anyone, to tell her it's okay? This one's for you. Every single morning for 5 minutes, you're going to sit and say out loud, I give myself permission to. And then you fill in the blank with whatever feels the most forbidden. Permission to rest, permission to be wrong, permission to be wildly ambitious. Because here is the hard truth you've probably been avoiding. The sign isn't coming. Permission is not coming from outside of you. You are the authority. You've always been the authority.
All right, let's shift our focus, because some borders aren't inside us at all. They're the lines drawn between us and other people.
Are you the people pleaser? The one who keeps disappearing into everybody else's needs? Is all your energy getting drained by unstable dynamics that you just refuse to name? It's time to get honest.
So your first exercise is this. Choose one situation this week, just one, where you will say no, or where you will simply stop explaining yourself. No long justification, no apology, just a clean, clear line. That's it.
And why is this so critical? Because what you're doing, it's not selfless, it's self-erasure. You are actively disappearing. This one small boundary is the very first step to claiming yourself back.
For the woman with an unresolved estrangement, you know, that psychic weight you carry around every single day, this one is for you. Write a letter to that person. Say absolutely everything. Do not hold back. And then, do not send it. The power here is in getting that weight out of your head and onto the page. Once it's there, you can finally read it back to yourself and ask the real question, is this border protecting me or is it punishing me? The letter will tell you the answer.
For the woman in a dynamic that just feels off, unstable, it's time for an audit. Look at this. Safe dynamics are consistent, honest, and clear. Now look at the other side. An unsafe dynamic? It's defined by a moving border, by constant pretending, by instability. The difference is clinical. You have to see it for what it is.
So here's the crucial part. If your relationships look like that right-hand column, you don't have to blow everything up today, but you must stop pretending it is normal. Acknowledgement is the first necessary step.
And finally, let's talk about the borders that aren't just in our heads or between people. Some borders are stored deep in our bodies. They're held in our spirit. Think about it. Does your block feel physical, like a knot in your stomach you can't undo? Or is it tied to a grief, a loss so profound that it's become a landscape you just can't seem to leave?
For the woman who holds everything in her body, the answer isn't more thinking, it's doing. Find a physical threshold, a doorway, a gate, anything. Stand right at it, breathe, and then, with your full intention, consciously step through it and say out loud, I am crossing. Your body needs physical action to resolve things. You're giving it a new memory to work with.
But listen, some borders cannot be crossed alone. This is so important. If your border is grief, from a death, a divorce, the loss of a version of yourself, your work is not to think your way out of it. It's to speak it.
Because grief that is spoken becomes grief that can move. Grief that's held in silence, it just becomes a wall that gets thicker and higher every single year. The point isn't to be fixed, it's to be witnessed. And having that courage to be witnessed, that is the most powerful act there is.
So you have the tools. You've seen the maps. There is no more information you need. There is only a choice.
Which one of these is yours? Which exercise made your heart beat just a little bit faster? That's your starting line. The question is no longer what should I do? The only question left is this: which border will you cross tonight?